Welcome. I'd like to call the March 7th Town Council meeting to order. And tonight, when we stand and honor America by saluting the flag, we have PAC 47, Den 14 with us, and they're going to lead us in the Pledge Allegiance. So would you men come forward now, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And I would ask the scouts if they would just introduce themselves right at the podium, right behind you, if you could speak into the mic and tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself. It's on.
Hi, my name is Ethan Mutri. I live in Scarborough. I'm in PAC 47, Den 14.
Thank you. Next.
Hi, my name is Nick Daler. I'm in Den 14, PAC 47. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, I'm in Den 14. My name is Brian, and I go to Wentworth Intermediate School.
Thank you. And
Hi, my name is Nicholas Thompson. I'm in 4th grade, and I like sports.
thank you, Nicholas. And again, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Next is a roll call.
Councilor Roy? Here. Councilor Holbrook? Here. Councilor Sullivan?
Here.
Councilor DeAndrea? Here. Chairman Alquist?
Here. And I just want to mention that Councilor Benedict is ill this evening and could not be here, and Councilor Rancourt is away. So, next order is the comment period. This is a time if anybody from the public would like to speak, make any comments about what's going on, or it's up to you. You have 5 minutes. Just step right up to the podium and make yourself known, please.
Hi, my name is Lisa Ronco, 17 Black Point Road, and I wanted to bring up the issue around the 81-unit senior assisted living complex. I'm very concerned about where it's going to be proposed for 300 feet off from the intersection, and with something being 59,000 square feet at that capacity with two-story level, and the amount of traffic that we have in that area, being that it's already congested, I hope that the council here takes a good look at the situation and hopefully can urge the planning board to take another closer look at that situation where many times, for example, I've, not just occasionally, but the traffic backs up over the hill, and I had to build a turnabout in the front of my driveway so I could pull out. It takes anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes during the summer season where finally someone will let me out of my own driveway. I've lived in Scarborough for 14 years, and the idea of widening the road near an already failing intersection is certainly not a fix-all. I'm not opposed to senior citizens having a living facility. As a matter of fact, we have 4 already in the Oak Hill area, and I'm hoping that they'll take another look at another piece of land that would be more suitable. Also, the lighting in this area, with a parking lot and the design of it facing out, we're a neighborhood that is going to be subjected to a lot of light pollution, and that also concerns a lot of us over there. Not to mention even my neighbors down below the hill. I mean, that's why they call it the hill, where storm runoff is most likely to occur, and they're going to have some flooding issues down there. So this facility really isn't a good fit in that area. Again, it's so congested. Scarborough is a beautiful place. Again, the traffic is crazy there. Anybody that's been on the Black Point Road to drive that area knows that. Maybe a traffic study could be done. Anyway, it is a nice neighborhood, and I really enjoy getting together with my neighbors to have a backyard barbecue and be able to get together. So I hope it continues, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment.
I would also like to leave this for record.
Sure. Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to make a few comments? Step right up to the podium and,
It was the shock of your life.
yeah, don't touch anything.
My name's Catherine Rogers. I'm at 373 Gorham Road. And I spoke at the Ordinance Committee meeting concerning the fireworks issue. And I just wanted to thank the committee for listening to the concerns of myself and the other people who spoke. And I think what is before the council tonight is a good compromise between residents and businesses who want to peacefully enjoy their properties and also those who want to enjoy fireworks. It's fair. It takes into consideration everyone's concerns. It's simple enough that it would be easy to get the word out about what the rules are. It's enforceable, and there's enough of a penalty that people might hesitate to disregard the rules. And I hope you'll pass the ordinance in the form that it is in right now. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? If not, we'll go to item 5, which is the February 15th minutes. Is there a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Second.
Any errors, changes, anybody wants to make? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Vote. Is there any adjustments to the agenda? Anybody has? No? Haven't seen none. Item 7, items to be signed, I'll do that through the meeting, and we'll go on to our first order.
Order number 12-19 is a 7 p.m. public hearing and possible second reading on the proposed new ordinance entitled Chapter 608A, the Town of Scarborough Consumer Fireworks Ordinance.
And there's a public hearing. I'll open the public hearing. If anybody would like to speak, please step right up to the podium. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, and what's the pleasure of the council on this item?
I would move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
And discussion. Council Roy?
Yeah, just that I think too, as Catherine just said, it is a good compromise. Fireworks certainly, I think, are used predominantly around the July 4th holiday. I don't know how much of it's used during New Year's. I don't know as I've heard too much, but I think this works as a good compromise, and hopefully it will be enforceable. I'm pleased with the revision, and I thank the Ordinance Committee for bringing that back to us.
Yeah. Oh.
I happened to notice Judy Camuso from IF&W, and was hoping that she might be here through the chair to speak to the issue of nesting shorebirds, and if we could
She's
allow
here to
that.
speak about this?
I don't know if she is or not, but I'm putting her on the spot.
Unfortunately, I'm a little bit unprepared in that I don't actually know what your ordinance says. I got sort of secondhand knowledge that it was a proposed ban on the beaches except for like 5 days during the year, a couple around 4th of July, and then some around New Year's Day. And so, again, I should introduce myself. I'm Judy Camuso. I'm one of the regional biologists with Maine Fish and Wildlife, and I'm here to talk, from our perspective, to think specifically about piping plovers, which nest in Scarborough. Quite a few pairs nesting in Scarborough last year. And as many of you may or may not know, plovers can be significantly impacted by fireworks, and particularly displays and the parties that are often associated with fireworks displays, particularly around the 4th of July. So we do have concerns with fireworks being discharged on the beaches where we have endangered species nesting. They're known to cause nest abandonment and nest failure. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service recommends no fireworks within 3/4 of a mile of piping plover nest. So we would encourage the town, if they're going to allow fireworks, that we'd want to have some sort of quality, some people control on the beaches where we have plovers nesting. So we'd want law enforcement on the beach and certain areas of the beaches around the plover nests to be closed, which is what we do quite effectively in Algonquin. We've done that for years. So I apologize that I'm not fully informed on what your ordinance says, but, or the proposed ordinance, but.
Thank you for your comment.
Okay.
Councilor Sullivan?
Yeah, this, the ordinance is, it was developed around the state statute. The state statute says that there will be no fireworks used on public beaches. And that'll be strictly enforced by our police. So as far as 3/4 of a mile, I don't know how we'd control that, but I think it was a good compromise. It's only 5 days out of the week, and I believe the only time that I don't even know whether it would be the time that it would bother the piping plovers. They would, around the 4th of July, is we have 3 days then. And like I said, it's no fireworks supposed to be used on the beach.
Oh, no fireworks on the beach at all?
That's right.
According to state.
We fully support that.
That's through the state statute.
So your comment is you fully support it. We'll note that. Thank you.
Support no fireworks on the beach.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yeah, Councilor Holbrook.
I just had one comment. I know I had mentioned at the last meeting, I was a little bit concerned about fines, fees, and penalties for the smaller stuff like sparklers. I had a birdie tell me that the state is revisiting that and going to have a further breakdown, apparently. I just would like to maybe have it noted that I'd like to revisit this at that time, just to add whatever language comes from the state into this as well.
Yeah, sure, you could.
Perhaps I
bring that back to the council.
Yes.
I could expand on that point if you like. We did talk to the State Fire Marshal's office. They acknowledged, frankly, soon after the current law was drafted, much less enacted, that there were some deficiencies. And essentially, the deficiency that's important to your question or your comment has to do with, apparently, there is some ambiguity that the so-called novelty items, those that have been available for use lawfully, the low-grade sparklers and those sorts of things, possibly are included in the definition of consumer fireworks. That was never the intent, and the State Fire Marshal's office intends to clarify that point. I don't think this rises to the level of emergency legislation, so it will have to wait for the next full session. So we did get the assurance between now and then that the State Fire Marshal's office, that is their policy position, and they will not be enforcing the use of basic fireworks, again, those that have always been lawful prior to the state law change.
Councilor Sullivan.
I have one question to the manager. If the state does add amendments to that statute, we're covered, that changes ours automatically, correct? Where we're following the state statute?
Section 2, Title and Authority, refers to the state statute.
Well, I'm going to hesitate. If you look at the order in front of you, the Consumer Fireworks Ordinance, it does provide detailed definition of consumer fireworks to the extent that any state law changes. And this definition is exactly modeled after the current state law. To the extent that definition changes in the future, we may well need to look back and further modify.
Okay.
Which we always do. Any other comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Let's vote.
Order 12-20 is a 7 p.m. public hearing and possible second reading on the proposed amendments to Chapter 614, the Town of Scarborough Noise Abatement Ordinance.
I'll open the public hearing on this item. Is there anybody who would like to speak on order 1225?
1220.
1220. Sorry. 12-20. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the council?
Would move approval of the order.
1225, seconded.
And just
12-20.
1220.
1220. I got mixed up, yeah, 1220.
Second. Is there any comments?
Not a comment, but just for public awareness, we added item 10, using, displaying, firing, or exploding consumer fireworks within the town. Is in accordance with the state law, and what was the other part of it? Was the noise? I think
We
that-
provided an exclusion for barking dogs that to
Right,
the
okay,
extent...
that's it, yeah, I had it circled once. I'm trying to work with this pad here. Had it, yeah, and
How's that work?
we included barking dogs that may be barking as a result of hearing the fireworks, so, because there was concern that they might be, get fined for the dog barking, when in fact it was as a result of. And we included all animals. It says frequent or repeated sounds by any animal which are reasonably in response to the use of consumer fireworks shall not be considered in violation, and I think that was one of Catherine's concerns, yeah.
Any other comments?
I don't have that paper, but I remember it.
We all set? All those in favor? Opposed? Vote.
Order number 1221 is a 7 p.m. public hearing and possible second reading on the proposed amendments to Chapter 608, the Town of Scarborough Fireworks Ordinance.
I'll open the public hearing on order 12-21. Anybody from the audience would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, and what's the pleasure of the council?
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion?
Again, for public, it's just the addition of the word display, Scarborough Fireworks Display Ordinance, which has been occurring in the town for a number of years, and if anybody wants to have display fireworks for occasions such as a wedding or something like that, they have to go to the fire department to get a permit, and this just titles that ordinance as a display one. Also would include, when we do the annual fair.
Thank you. Any other comments? All those in favor? Opposed? It's a vote.
Order 12-25 is a 7 p.m. public hearing and action on the new request for a food handler's license from Global Montello Group Corp., doing business as Mobile on the Run, located at 613 U.S. Route 1. This is a transfer in ownership.
Before I open the public hearing, I just want to mention Councilor DeAndrea is going to a council function tonight, and she had to leave early. I believe it was for...
The outgoing past president of the Scarborough Land Trust, there's a function recognizing her contributions.
I'll open the public hearing on order 12-25. Is there anybody from the audience who would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. And what is the pleasure of
Move
the council?
approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? It's, I don't have to look that. Old business, we have none at this time. New business?
Under new business order number 12-26 is a first reading and schedule a public hearing and second reading on the proposed amendments to Chapter 301, the Town of Scarborough Administrative Code.
And Tom?
Yeah, I'll start, and I may look to the town clerk to provide some further clarity. She did provide a memorandum in your packet right behind this order that I think does a very good job of giving a high-level overview, but essentially the effort here was to make sure that the administrative code, and just to remind the council and perhaps everyone else, beyond the town charter, which really provides the basic framework of our local government, through Home Rule Authority, the administrative code provides the administrative detail by department, so it provides much better clarity and detail related to how the town is actually organized beyond the basic framework established in the charter. And not surprisingly, as the town's changed and grown through the years, our code was deficient in a number of areas. A number of key departments weren't even mentioned. A number of others, almost all others, have changed in one small way or another. So that was our interest and our impetus in looking at this in the first place. And then as part of that, the Ordinance Committee took on the task really brought forward at the goals session of council, which was to look very seriously at the town committees and consider their ongoing value and importance to the town, and in fact have proposed that we eliminate a number of them and move others to another document that's next on your agenda. So with that, I would look to the clerk if she has anything to add to that. Good.
We have a motion?
Is it a public hearing or?
Well, it's
a first reading.
It's a first reading, and then we'll schedule a public hearing if we approve of it.
Well, once we have the order, I've got just a number of points that I'd like to bring up.
Move approval?
Second.
Comments? Council Roy?
Yeah, in the very beginning of it, on page 1, it talks about the administrative manual, and it will be distributed to all members of the town council and all department heads. And in lieu of the fact that we are trying to go paperless, my thought is perhaps we might like to make an amendment when it comes to the second reading relative to that fact, that it would be available online rather than to duplicate multiple manuals and cost. I mean, just tonight's meeting, there's 92 pages of data that was given to all the councils except Councilor Alquist and I, and that's 92 times 7. A lot of pieces of paper, so, 90 times 7 is 60, 700 pieces of paper, so just that. And there were several places where the gender-specific, changing from he or his or her, were not changed, and I did bring those to the attention of the town clerk, and she's made note of those, and I'll send her this. I have to swing down through. Article 3, Department of Finance, on page 6. It starts out talking about the Department of Finance, and then it says, the head of which shall be the Director of Finance, and then it's appointed by the manager, and the town manager shall serve as the tax collector treasurer. And then when it starts on duties in 302, then it says the tax collector treasurer. Yet the title of it is the Director of Finance. And so I think we need to clarify there, whose duties are we outlining, the Director of Finance, or is this the tax collector? So that was confusing to me. See, I have nothing else to do with my time, guys. I do these things. And on page 8, in 5402, that was just a typo. Line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it just, 5, it says applicant for information prefer, comma, refer, and we need to take out the word refer. Article 6, the police department, which is page 9, it says that there shall be a police department, the head of which shall be the police chief, who shall be appointed by the manager, and then it says there shall also be a harbor master. My thought there was there shall also be, within this department, a harbor master and an animal control officer. It just reads better. And with all of these departments, some of them, and this being the first one, some of them include prepares and administers the budget, but some of them don't include that. Police chief being one, it doesn't say that there, but it does say it under the fire department, and it, and then there's a couple others, so that's one thing we want to look for. And then the other question I had was on page 10, 650212. It's talking about the duties of the police chief, but then it includes the duty of the town manager to authorize to execute on behalf of the town mutual aid agreements. And I'm just wondering if perhaps that information could be placed in the town manager section. 'Cause- and then that also occurs again under the fire department. I said to Tody, my students used to hate me correcting their papers. So,
Now you see why.
yeah. So, and then I had a question maybe the manager could answer on page 14, section 807. It starts out with the duties of the town, no, 808, I'm sorry, 808. The Long Range Planning Committee, I know what was, the attempt was to move all committees out of the administrative manual, and I know the manager had some reason for leaving this in there. I just, wanted it clarified as to why that would be left in there as committee functions, when in fact we're trying to move them to the other.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong. The alignment of committees, whether they exist all in one document or with the relevant department, it's all about recall and being able to find this.
Yeah.
The problem in the past is these have been appended at the end, and so unless you know to look for it, it's very hard to find.
Yeah.
So
But it is in the committees,
that's true.
and so it's replication.
I think it certainly could be moved over to the other manual just as well. It is obviously a not very well-developed committee by way of structure.
Because even in the committee part, it doesn't have delineated duties, like bulleted.
That's correct.
So-
And frankly, I moved it to the end of the planning section just so it would be easier to find for the unsuspecting person or for staff.
Okay, but just, we'll keep it in thought. And then on the Article 14, the Health Department, I'm just wondering what I didn't go and search out the state statute on this, but about the health officer. With the change in healthcare, here it says that the health officer has to be a physician, but nurse practitioners are allowed to practice on their own, and I'm just wondering if it might not be also appropriate to say physician or nurse practitioner, but I don't know what the state statute
I'll
says.
review Title 22 and see what this law
Yeah,
requires.
because they might be specific and saying physician, so I wasn't sure. The other things were just, again, on the breaking out of duties, when you're talking community services, when you look at recreation, on page 17, everything is in one lump paragraph rather than breaking it out, and it's more readable if you can delineate out. I know it's a lot of work and it's budget time, but just a thought. And as you look down through the others, I think that happens on multiple times.
Just to that point, I will say, those two departments in particular, I tasked my department heads to come up with this structure, and so you do see a bit of different approach. We did try to align them, but clearly there are some differences.
Yeah. I'd be willing to help with any of that. I mean, certainly. I have, obviously, time. Let's see, page 20, the economic development, it says to be repealed. And I just wanted to be sure that the SEDCO economic development is included somewhere else. If we're going to repeal it out of here, I know they have their own bylaws, but
To my knowledge, SEDCO is not mentioned or codified anywhere in the town records. They are a separate, distinct entity all to themselves.
And there's also nothing, of course, there's nothing on the sanitary district either, because
No.
they are a separate entity, but I just didn't want them to get lost in the shuffle. But
That was not the intent, for sure.
Yeah, I know.
certain.
With the restructuring or anything that might happen in the future, that might be something we'd look at. And I think that's pretty much it. The rest of it was moving committee things from here out. And I think I had a few. There was one other, page 31, the regulating the use of the Scarborough River and Wildlife Sanctuary. It needs a home, but I'm not sure the home is administrative manual home. So
We agree.
So
If there's a better
if we can
place,
figure
we'll
out where to put it, it might work better in another place. Maybe, maybe even in, under Public Works, it might fit there, where they do manage some things, so, just a thought. And I think the rest of it is committee boards, is it not, Tody?
Yes.
I went through pretty much everything with Tody, so, yeah. So those are my comments. Some things that perhaps we need to clear up, and as I said, I'd be willing to help the town clerk go through it and, do some refining if we need to.
Yeah, again, what we're trying to do is really trying to bring this up to date.
Yes.
And just make corrections, and, I'm looking in here, the Section 116, age of employees, where employees had to get done at 65, and
Yeah.
they could get an extension for 1 year, but 1 year only, but it's all that kind of stuff that is old language and needs to go.
It's rather prejudiced these days.
Well, I call it the Judy Roy article, actually.
I knew you were going to have a comeback.
I mean, that provision is not in compliance with federal law.
Exactly.
Right,
exactly.
absolutely, yeah.
So this is long overdue, and it'll be all good when we can get through it, but there is ways to go, and this is only the first reading. So.
Yeah. I said,
there
we're willing to work with Tody and for
Yeah,
you
that'd be
folks to
great.
help, so, yeah.
Any other comments?
I have none.
All in favor? To vote.
Order number 1227 is the first reading and scheduled public hearing on the proposed, public hearing and second reading on the proposed amendments to the procedure guide for the town committees and boards.
Have a motion?
Move approval?
Second.
Discussion?
Guess what, I read this one, too.
I think that was coming.
The one major gap that I find is we've been asking for annual reports from all of the various committees, and in some committees, it's in their outline, and in other committees, it's not. And I'm just, thinking that perhaps we could put it at the beginning section that sets the tone for all committees, that says purpose, appointments, agenda, minutes, et cetera, and we could include the annual reports there. In the planning board, it says that they will give us quarterly reports. I've never seen that happen in my 14 years on the council, that we got quarterly reports from the planning board. But I think that was the biggest gap that I saw, was just making sure that we included the annual report as part of the process for all committees, and perhaps in that light, developing an annual report form, much like we have the minutes form and the agenda form. If there's a form that they can easily fill out to give us an annual report or update. And maybe we want to include an annual report and updates when deemed necessary by the committees, because there may be some urgent things that go on during the year that they might want to make sure that we are aware of. So that was all.
Councilor Sullivan.
Just to add to that, I had always been saying, ever since I got on the council, that these committees serve at the pleasure of the council. And every time they have a meeting, it's our responsibility to know whether we're there at that committee meeting or not, or, for an example, maybe a liaison missed that meeting, but I think we should all know as councilors what was discussed at that meeting. And I'm still pushing for trying to get just a small, brief report when, whether it's monthly or bi-monthly, discussing, in brief, what these committees had discussed.
Perhaps, we can include that in the beginning, and that they provide the council liaison with minutes of their meetings. There isn't any reason, the senior group always have provided me minutes of the meeting. I'm getting that same, I get the Energy Committee, the Long Range Planning Committee, I get minutes from those, and I think we should expect it from the others, and then, that at least, because liaison doesn't mean you have to be at every meeting.
Right.
You can only spread yourself so thin. But if you have the minutes, at least you've got something to base a telephone call on and say, tell me more about this.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with Councilor Sullivan and Roy on this issue. You know, it's been a struggle to get some minutes out of some committees, and it's been very frustrating for all of us. So I think if we set it in the standard and it's expected up front, and when they go through, hopefully, some kind of training or some kind of briefing before, you know, we always said, before somebody sits on a committee, then maybe we can help them out a little bit, and they know what we expect from them. So anything we can do to put it in writing, I think is going to help us.
So we can, do that as amendments in the second reading.
Yep. Again, this is only the first reading.
Just on that point, perhaps the easiest thing to do for the benefit of council and the public, frankly, in most cases, if not all, there are agendas, there are minutes that are created. They're not necessarily shared, and that's just not done on purpose. We can institute a program where the clerk collects these on a routine basis, and we post them on the website, and they're there for your convenience when you want to look.
Yep.
Would that serve the purpose?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what for me?
I mean, we're trying to go paperless, and I think, if we can post the minutes of all the committees, I mean, like we do of our meetings or the planning board meetings, and certainly.
Just the final comment, those committees that have staff support, and most do, not all, are far better and more routine. The others, these are volunteers, they're giving their time up, but, we'll do what we can to help support all town committees.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Jessica.
Oh, Jessica, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it was one of the things that was highlighted, I think, through all of this was the reports. I think every committee has a report, and I'm going, I want to see these reports. That was all my comment.
And I think the other comment I'd make, too, is, again, as far as similarity between one committee versus the other and how it's written down. Some of it is block form, and some of it is bulleted. And that wouldn't be very hard to do, is to bullet things out, because for somebody looking for, what are the duties of this committee, you're more than likely to read bulleted items than you are to read a block of verbiage.
Yeah. Well, we put some pretty good forms in there of what people can go by, and they're uniform for every committee, and they can use, so that's.
But I
gonna
mean,
help
the outline of the committee itself, what its duties are.
Oh, yeah, okay.
In a block form, you might miss something, but if they're delineated out, you can,
Yep.
I had one other question, just something I had highlighted, if somebody, I don't know that there is an answer, but under the Parks and Conservation Land Board, which was 14, there's a land acquisition reserve fund, and I had highlighted that unspent appropriations from town committees such as Conservation Commission and Shellfish Conservation Committee are placed into the land acquisition fund, and I was just wondering, is there any idea how much unspent funds might be?
Well, that'll
Is
come
that
up
something
in
that
the
happens a
finance.
lot, or?
Well, the majority of it are voter-approved bonds. There have been
Okay.
3 bonds over the last 7 or 8 years. I don't recall all the amounts, but I think there's probably about $2 million in authorized bonds not yet spent, nor have we bonded those projects yet. That would be the majority of the money, to the extent that there are small amounts on an annual basis from those other sources. We're talking a few $1,000s here or there, so those wouldn't amount to much. The vast majority are voter-approved authorized bonds for land acquisition.
You all set? All those in favor of this order? Opposed? So vote.
Order 1228 is a first reading and schedule a second reading on the bond order for the municipal school capital improvements projects for fiscal year 2012.
We have a motion?
I would move approval.
Second?
Second.
And Tom, would you?
Yes, what's before you this evening is a standard, fairly typical bond order. This is a list of projects, both town and school, in the current budget, approved in the current budget, and this authorizes borrowing to accomplish those projects. This year, we have a fairly unique opportunity as it relates to the issuance of bonds, again, which is a typical springtime process for us. This year, we're looking at combining 2 other components, not just this typical financing, but we're looking at advanced refunding of existing debt about $21 million of existing debt, and also dealing with the Wentworth project that is soon to be well underway. And we do have our financial advisor here, Joe Gutera, and with your indulgence, I think in 5 minutes or so, he can paint a kind of just a high-level overview of what we intend to accomplish this year. It's a bit off point from what's before you this evening, but it's a big deal for the town.
It is, yeah, sure. Welcome, Joe.
And as Joe takes the podium, I would note that Bob Mitchell, chairman of the school board and an actuary during the day, with a great facility for numbers, and has been a great help in a part of our team in this whole process.
My name's Joe Kitara. I'm with Moores & Cabot in Boston, and we had good news to the Finance Committee and even better news today because we've been able to fine-tune some of our aspects. I guess to start with, I had a 6% mortgage on my house and called my banker and refinanced it. I thought it was pretty smart at 4 7/8. I guess I was a little too quick on the job. And I just paid $300 a month less on my mortgage. And the town issued bonds in 2002, 3, and 4 at rates which were then very attractive in the current market, but the market for rates have come down substantially, about 100, 200 basis points. So we're able to master 2 tasks, and one is to look at those bonds and refund them at lower interest rates. And it's as simple as that. The part of the financing will include cost of issuance, the rating, any of the ancillary parts, and so the savings that we will receive is a true savings, and we're currently looking at about at least $500,000 or 4.7% present value savings. At the same time, and what mitigates the savings a little bit, is we have the opportunity to look at Higas Road, which we financed in 2002, with a plan, and here it is 2012, and things have changed, and so this allows us to restructure the financings and at the same time provide a structure that's 2012 compatible for those type of projects. At the same time, before you use a $3 million CIP, $2 million CIP, and we have included that into the refunding issue. Nothing is free, but the savings include any cost of issuance for that, so that you don't have the cost of ratings and those things as they're encompassed in the savings. And then the final part is we bifurcated or cut in two the $39,077,000 of bonds will be issued for the Wentworth School project. And you're blessed by having Bob with the school committee be a real advocate here and a help, and Ruth and Tom, Bob, and I have spent probably 4 or 5 meetings and a lot of time fine-tuning this, and it's not magic, but by using good quantitative skills, we are able to finance a big portion of the Wentworth School this year at these interest rates, which are historically low over 30 or 40 years, and then finish it up next year and comply with the tax code. All this being said, and my summary is that we have structured all of these financings so that after a $30 million Wentworth School portion of the $39 million, and after the CIP financing, and with the refunding, we've provided a structure that actually reduces your debt service requirements each year over the next 7 years from $8.4 million down to $8.2 to $8.1, stays $8.1, $8,050,000, so that in every year you have been able to actually issue debt, but at a situation where, from a budgetary point of view, it doesn't add pressure to your debt service account and actually reduces it every year through 2019. At that point in time, you might have other projects that have matured that are necessary in 2019, 2021, and so we've preserved your purchasing power in stepping those debt. So in every year, we have a situation where you're actually having less and less debt, despite the fact we're issuing these bonds.
Questions? No. I appreciate you coming to the Finance Committee and explaining this to us, and some of us, I think Council Holbrook thought it was important that you be here and explain it to the whole council, and we certainly appreciate the good news, so anytime we can get good news.
I did threaten to come back, and so I probably won't be here for the second reading, if there is one.
Yeah, also Ruth Porter is with us tonight, our Finance Director. Ruth, did you have any comments or want to make, you're all set? All right, good, thank you.
Yeah, I just make one comment. We had an opportunity to do this last spring. We refinanced some of the bonds, and again, we're able to save a significant amount of money. I believe it was $250,000-$300,000.
That's right.
I believe last spring, by doing refinancing of some bonds, prior bonds. And so certainly this was a nice opportunity while the bond rating is good to capture that and reduce the debt for the community. So I appreciate Joe's hard work and the finance director's hard work, and certainly Bob Mitchell, who has been extremely active with them, and I think
Yes.
it's been a real help for us.
What is truly remarkable is, taking on the daunting task of $39 million in new debt for Wentworth, and what Joe just explained is we're able to not affect our annual debt service payment by virtue of this larger package we've assembled. So just as an aside, I had a resident come in today asking very particular questions about how much is my tax bill going to go up because of the Wentworth project, and I was pleased to be able to report to her that she should feel comfortable. There may be other reasons your tax bill may go up, but it's not because of the Wentworth project.
Yeah, that's terrific news.
Yeah, it is terrific news.
All those in favor of this order? And opposed? Passes. Thank you again, Joe.
Thank you.
And Ruth for coming tonight. We appreciate it.
Order 1229 is act to authorize the town manager to send a letter on behalf of the town of Scarborough to the DeFossis family for their support of the 55-plus program through Scarborough Community Services.
And we'll have a motion.
I would move approval.
Second.
And Tom?
Yes, a copy of the letter is attached behind the order that I'd like to send. And this really simply recognizes the DeFoss family and State Manufacturers Home for a number of years. I don't frankly recall how many years they've been doing this, but on a weekly basis, they have allowed our senior program to operate out of their community center. A lot of our participants are residents, so it's convenient in that respect. But if we had to go out and rent space for this, there certainly is a cost. So we're very appreciative, and we thought it was high time that we actually provided public recognition, and that's what I'd like to do with the letter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we all agree. It's terrific. We appreciate the effort they put towards our programs, and certainly it's a wonderful thing. Our resident senior citizen here, Councilor Roy, probably would have a comment on this, I would think.
Well, I was down there to the community center today, because I do blood pressures once a month for them, and they truly appreciate, the availability of that facility for their luncheons, and, it's a great time for them to socialize, and which is really, really important in reducing the risk of dementia, is for elders to get out and to socialize with other people. And so, Teresa DeFosser and her family have been very generous always with that building, and in many other ways, how they really look out for the seniors that live in their community, their manufactured home community.
All those in favor? It's a vote.
Order 1230 is act to approve the resolution to accept donations for the fuel assistance program.
Councilor Sullivan?
Be it hereby resolved by the town council as follows, that the town of Scarborough gratefully accepts the pledges and donations from the following businesses and/or persons that have been collected to date to be used for the fuel assistance program. Lisa Howard, DDS. And be it further resolved that each business, organization, and/or person be recognized for their generous donations as a token of the town's appreciation.
Second.
Second. Comments?
Just a question to the manager. Do you have any idea of where that, you knew I was going to ask you?
I did, and I'm not prepared for actual
Okay.
dollar amount. I can say safely that we've had enough donations to cover all and met all needs that have come forward. Not surprisingly, things have tailed off as we approach spring. We'll be evaluating the program with Project Grace to see if there's any interest in a need to extend it into the future. We have the system in place. My inclination is to keep moving forward whether we make it as high profile and a matter of routine as we have this year by having it on your every agenda, we can talk about. But I think the program will still have some benefit in the future.
Thank you.
Councilor Sullivan.
I'd like to see this program continue year to year from now on, and I guess until home heating fuel's $1 a gallon. Because I don't see anything in the near future of
Long time away.
home heating oil being super affordable. So.
I had oil delivered today, and it was, I'm not using as much, but it was $515.
Oh, yeah?
It was,
Me, I'm doing a pellet thing, which seems to work pretty darn well.
Yeah.
But again, we have the process in place, and I hope we continue it next year, and
Yes.
it's just an automatic thing for what we do as a council. I think it's all good, and I certainly, again, we say it over and over again, but we certainly appreciate the public and the folks, and certainly the businesses out there and the organizations that have stepped forward. It's been tremendous. It's been a wonderful experience for all us to experience that and to look at them and see the names come forward. Again, thank you. All in favor? Let's vote. Next item. Non-action items, I don't believe we have any, do we? And standing or special committee reports or liaison reports, Councilor Roy.
Okay, Long-Range Planning Committee, I would just like to remind the rest of the council, we're having a focus meeting tomorrow evening at 4:30 here in the council chambers. We are going to be talking again about the Haggis Parkway and some potential for rezoning the two ends of the Haggis Parkway in retrospect to businesses and the parcels of land and, their topography and those kinds of things. This will be the second meeting, and we had an excellent turnout with the first meeting of people who own the parcels along the parkway, and they offered a lot of input, and the Long Range Planning Committee has worked on it, and so we're coming back to them with what our proposal is, and I invite the rest of the councilors, if you're interested and can attend, it would be good so that you can see, what we're talking about. The Long Range Planning Committee then will meet again Friday morning at 8 o'clock, and we'll be working on that, plus a couple of other projects that are going on that may require some rezoning, readjustments of zoning. So, and we're waiting to finish up the Pine Point rezoning. It's just a matter of touching base with DEP relative to the shoreline zoning component of the Pine Point rezoning. So those are the things we're working on there. Energy Committee will meet again tomorrow morning at 7:30. Two things we'll be talking about is we have an intern student doing a pilot project at the high school, looking at the lighting in the parking lots at the high school, seeing how they can save energy, and the Sustainability Coordinator, Anna Kino-Howe, has been keeping us updated with that, so we'll be updated again tomorrow. And then we're also looking at some alternatives to provide heat and cooling for this building, and there are two potential ways in which we can go with that to save energy, but one of them is we also will produce energy. So we'll be looking at those two alternatives tomorrow morning with that, so that's it. Committees. And Finance Committee will start, we're meeting on the 27th.
We have a meeting next Tuesday morning.
Next Tuesday.
And
Trying to
then
think of
we'll
what
start-
date it is, the 14th? Yeah, the 14th. Is it 13th? It's the 13th. We have a meeting, it's the 13th, the Finance Committee. And then we'll start the meetings with the various departments on the 27th of March, going through the next 4 Tuesdays after that. We'll get input with the budget presentation. The manager will make his budget presentation to the council on the 21st.
Yes, it's your next
Meeting of the
meeting.
21st, yes.
That's the next meeting.
Yeah, that's it.
Councilor Holbrook.
I have to apologize because I left my schedule sitting on my desk, but I can't remember the date, but the next Housing Alliance meeting coming is going to actually be a site walk of where the proposed project with Habitat in the town is going to be. We'll be doing a site walk and then having the regular meeting at 7 here at Town Hall.
And what's the date?
It's a week from Thursday. I'm not sure what the date is.
Week from Thursday is the 15th.
Yes, thank you.
15th.
Thank you. Councilor Sullivan?
I have nothing to report.
I attended the EcoMaine meeting today in which they honored the local people who were volunteers and who have done projects, and we wanted to recognize, and Eddie Wooden from Scarborough was recognized for his work that he's done with and on the Scarborough Marsh, and he received an award for that, and I want to say congratulations to him. He works very hard, and we appreciate that. So, and EcoMaine meetings just keep going on, I guess, and meet with them and finance. I find that, I guess we're going to get charged up, ready to go right now, so this
What
is
time
really
is that
the
at?
heavy-duty time for us. It's 8 a.m. next Tuesday morning. That's pretty good, huh? Off the top of my hand there, no calendar. Next, we'll go to the manager's report.
A couple of quick points. I'm fully immersed in budget. As was mentioned, I'm scheduled to make my presentation of the proposed budget at your next meeting, so 2 weeks from tonight. And then, as was mentioned, the Finance Committee will begin really immediately following that for the next 4 or 5 weeks, reviewing line item by line item, if you wish, in detail, the budget requests. I guess I'll just kind of predict, we've got some serious challenges this year. I suspect this year will be characterized as somewhat of a correction year, where the last 3 or 4 years, whether it's through federal stimulus money or use of our own fund balance, we have plugged some holes in our budget. Those are not available to us anymore. So either there'll be very deep cuts to keep the mill rate the same, or there'll be some correction. The good news is, and as was mentioned earlier, debt service is a very good illustration of this. I think we'll be on a much more stable path going forward. Though there have been huge hits to revenues, this kind of roller coaster ride we've been on, my expectation is that we won't receive certainly the levels that we received 3 or 4 years ago, but by the same token, I don't expect the huge decreases that we've been experiencing over the last couple of years. So we're going to be on a more even, predictable, and stable pattern. So it'll be interesting to work with the Finance Committee, and I'm sure we can provide the information and answer the questions they have. As regards Higgins Beach, I hate to mention those words again. There is some unfinished business. Weather's warming up, and there's a handful of things that I'm working with Councilor Roy on. She's volunteered to assist, to really kind of fine-tune and focus on just a handful of decisions that we'd like to bring to the council. We're on schedule to do that at your first April meeting, and so you can look forward to that. I'm pleased to speak to any of you about some of those details. I think many, if not all of you, have been contacted by a number of the residents, and as I have. Also, at your place this evening, the Eastern Trail Alliance has prepared these booklets. I'm told they're for sale for $10 each. I guess they must be a fundraiser, but they do provide detailed maps of the trail as it exists, including mileage. So this might be something you'd be interested in. Obviously, it includes the Scarborough section, but it does address the entirety of the trail system as it exists today. Thank you.
Okay. Councilor comments. Councilor Sullivan.
I don't have any comments tonight.
Okay. Councilor Holbrook.
Just good luck to, I know Mary's Walk is this Sunday down in Saco, and I know that there is Scarborough Storm, I believe. The middle school kids have put together a team and are registered down there to do the walk, so just good luck. Congratulations. Go.
Councilor Roy.
Yeah, as I usually do, I offer out condolences, and certainly to the families of Donald Rennie, lived in Scarborough a long time, Charlotte Verrier, and Gerard de Grand Prix, 3 of our longtime citizens. I also want to mention that we've usually had large groups from Mr. Wendell's class, but there's two young gentlemen in the back of the room. One of them happens to be my neighbor, and they are from Mr. Wendell's civics class. And so thank you for attending, and I hope you got a lot out of it. So.
Yeah, why don't you come up and introduce yourself?
Yeah.
That would be kind of nice if you would do that, just to prove that we can get you on camera, to prove that you were here. That's what that's all about.
Jeff's going to kill me. But I didn't want them to go unnoticed because the others got the attention, too.
I appreciate that, thank you.
So.
I'm Jeff Russell. I'm a 10th grader at Scarborough High School.
Thank you, Jeff.
I'm Trevor Chenard. I'm also in 10th grade at Scarborough High School.
Thank you.
Thank you for attending.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate
I
that.
got a couple of other things. I certainly want to say congratulations to the academic decathlon team who have won again. That's 28 wins for the state championship and only 4 losses. So in 32 years, 28 wins. And so they'll be on to the nationals down in Washington, D.C. Also, a thank you to the Chamber for putting on the annual dinner, which was attended by school board members, town council members, business members, SEDCO board, Secretary of State Charlie Summers was there, and our guest speaker was Amy Volt. So it was a very nice gathering, just a nice evening out, and be able to chat with people, business people, as well as colleagues on boards, and we enjoyed it very much. So, thank you.
Yeah, I too was at that dinner, and I think we had 4 councilors there. Councilor Sullivan was there, and Councilor Benedict was there, and it was kind of nice that we had that many show up, and it was a very interesting evening. And I always like that dinner because the roundtable discussions you have with different people that you might not know or see every day, and I thought it was pretty darn interesting. For my comments, other than that, I just wanted to mention, again, I read an article in a local paper that said the swans could be the swan song for SEDCO, and I just wanted to say as one councilor, and I don't speak for all councilors, but I think they probably feel the same way, that SEDCO is not going anyplace, as far as I'm concerned, and I think probably the majority of the council. We've asked them, and Council Roy's been involved in this, has asked them if they would go back and kind of reinvent the wheel and maybe talk about the future of SEDCO and what we can do and make some changes. And we're really conscious about saving money this time around and what we can do what things we need to do, what SEDCO needs to do. And I know Council Roy and certainly Tom has been working very hard and closely with Harvey to try to come up with a new game plan. I think they've done that, and I think it'll be presented during the Finance Committee deliberations. I hope it is. But I want to assure you, I think they serve a very vital, important role in this town, and I don't see that SEDCO going anyplace. It could be in a little different form or shape, but certainly they're not going anyplace. And I didn't mean to steal your thunder on that, Council Roy, but I wanted to mention that because I knew that there was.
Yeah.
I've been
I
receiving
forgot that was
calls.
the other meeting that I had, was the SEDCO board meeting, which was on March 1st, and everything that you said is right on target, that they've been working really hard, and I think that the rest of the council will be pleased with their presentation of the budget to the Finance Committee and to the people of the town of Scarborough, and I too, concur that, SEDCO plays a very, very important role in the community, and that tax base for businesses is very important in keeping our personal tax lower. So they play an important role, and even though the economy has been down, things are starting to look positive. And we may not see financial rewards immediately, but within the next couple of years, I believe the swing will take place. So.
The only other thing is that the departments would certainly like to have councilors tour the different departments in town if you're willing to do that, and certainly over to Eco Maine, and we can set up some tours for you. So kind of keep that in mind. I know this is a very busy season for a lot of, with finance and ordinance and everything going on, but if you could fit it in at all, it would be probably greatly appreciated by those departments if we could see firsthand what they do. So.
Do you think it's possible that we can set a morning up or something that all of it, well, most of us can,
For eco.
But every department in Eco-Maine are very flexible, so it's,
Right,
they're going to make it work if you,
grab one of the buses from community services and
Yeah.
all go together, or, I know that's,
yeah, sure. We'll, Tom and I'll work on that, and we'll see what we can make happen, and make a morning of it. It would be great. If there isn't anything else, I'll... There is.
Just that we have iPads. If you notice, Counselor Alquist and I don't know how well he's been
Oh, that's
following the
great.
meeting on the iPad, but we're going to swap these off, and I guess we're going to sit with Tom within the next few weeks here and say, what do I like about the iPad, and what does he like about the Motorola Android, and I don't really want to try that one, because I like this one, but I will. I will.
Yeah,
But,
let's be a team player.
It's kind of, they've been kind of fun, and I think, as an example tonight, there were 92 pages to what was delivered to the other councilors, and so if we had all gotten it, it'd have been 700 pages of paper. So that adds up after a while.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's a great resource. If we want to go back and look at some information, we certainly can do it very easily, and certainly I could have hit a button and calendar would have popped up, but I didn't figure that out in time, but...
Yeah, you got to go
we'll
back
get
to
better
the
at
icons.
it. Yeah, we'll get better at it. But anyway, motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. Good night.